Hello, my name is Bruce Fein. I represent Tamils Against Genocide. And this evening I'd like to explain the origins of our organization, what its mission is, and what we expect to accomplish, and why we think the prospects of success are very good. Tamils Against Genocide was formed because of the climate of impunity within Sri Lanka that has led to a devastating human rights toll. Kidnappings, extrajudicial killings, torture, displaced persons, arbitrary detentions, and the like. And Tamils Against Genocide's focus is three individuals who have strong ties to the United States. The first is Gotabhaya Rajapakse. He's a United States citizen. The other two are Lt.Col Sarath Fonseka. He is a green card holder in the United States and a major player in the effort to exterminate Tamils from the island of Sri Lanka. And the third is Basil Rajapakse, a senior presidential advisor and key member of parliament, who also is a green card holder. Of course, the reason why these three were selected is that it gives the United States a far greater political justification, if you will, for hailing them into justice in United States courts for violating laws against genocide, torture, crimes against humanity, and other kinds of heinous activities in violation of the United States Criminal Code. Tamils Against Genocide believes that the indictments and prosecutions of these individuals in the United States would substantially deter the Sri Lankan government from continuing their campaign of extermination against Tamil civilians in Sri Lanka itself. Moreover, if there were indictments, there's always the possibility of approaching the Sri Lankan government and exchanging the dropping of the indictments for a cessation of the violence, indiscriminate killings in Sri Lanka, and moving towards peaceful negotiations that could eventuate either in Tamil statehood or self-determination, a right that belongs to every people throughout the world. Tamils Against Genocide hopes to accomplish its particular mission in a variety of ways. Number one, there is in the State Department a war crimes unit that is devoted to examining war criminals around the world and ascertaining how important their prosecution would be to the national security or foreign policy of the United States. Moreover, there are critical committees in the United States Congress with jurisdiction over war crimes in the State Department who we hope to enlist in support of these particular prosecutions. The keys would be the Human Rights Caucus in the U.S. Congress, the House Foreign Relations Committee, the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. So we would like to have them not only urge the State Department and the Justice Department to move forward with these prosecutions, but also to hold hearings themselves where we could cast sunshine on the otherwise very bleak human rights landscape in Sri Lanka. Now, Tamils Against Genocide is optimistic in part because there are concurrent genocide prosecutions underway in the world that shows that what we are asking is not anything novel, pioneering in the law. And let me refer to two recent examples. First, Radovan Karadzic. He was a Bosnian Serb indicted for genocide by the International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia. He was captured recently and he's now standing genocide prosecution in The Hague. Now, another companion arrest warrant has been issued against Sudanese President Omar Bashir for alleged genocide in Darfur. And President Bashir also has been accused of exercising command responsibility over the massacres and the killings, attempts to destroy in part various ethnic tribes in Darfur. Defense Secretary Gotabhaya Rajapakse is guilty of genocide crimes against Tamils that make the corresponding indictments against Bosnian Serb Radovan Karadzic and President Bashir of Sudan look like tea parties. Let's just review the facts. More than 1,500 Tamil civilians dead, 250,000 displaced, scores kidnapped, unlimited numbers of arbitrary detentions, and 1,000 days elapsed and not a single prosecution and punishment of anyone. And we know this toll is vastly understated for two reasons. Number one, the Rajapakses have made very clear that anyone who testifies against them will suffer the most severe retribution, including killings. And I myself have been approached by several Sri Lankan Tamils in the diaspora and told that absent the fright they would be willing to talk, but they can't put something in an affidavit and make it public because either their loved ones or their property is back in Sri Lanka and they fear the kind of retribution that would sorely tax any individual. The second reason why we can suspect that the grisly figures I've recited are vastly understated is the blackout. There is no willingness of the Rajapakse administration to permit any human rights observers in the north or the east, to permit any foreign independent journalists in the north or the east. Indeed, those who are independent are typically intimidated by the Rajapakse administration. Now, let us then take these elements of proof and see how they would work out in the United States. There are laws here that prohibit genocide perpetrated by any United States national, whether or not the actual crime and wrongdoing is in the United States or abroad. So it clearly has application to Gotabhaya Rajapakse for his crimes that he's participated in, exercising command responsibility over the paramilitary troops and the soldiers in Sri Lanka itself. So there's no doubt the United States has jurisdiction to try Gotabhaya Rajapakse. Moreover, there are companion crimes against humanity, such as torture, that apply in the United States irrespective of whether or not you have a citizen involved, like green card holders Fonseka and Basil Rajapakse. So there's clearly jurisdiction under United States law to try these two for torture in Sri Lanka during the campaign that's been underway for the last decades in the north and the east. We believe that part of the benefit of these prosecutions would also be an educational undertaking in the United States to demonstrate the need for an entire, if you want, call it a revolution in the politics and the dispensation of Sri Lanka, so that Tamils can live under a system where they are not virtually outside of the law. In sum, Tamils Against Genocide as a high mission. We are confident of success. We need everyone's cooperation, no matter how painful it might be, in coming forward with the evidence, although even without the direct testimony, the circumstantial evidence is overwhelming, I think, in favor of genocide. And we'll be back giving you a weekly update of genocide statistics and the progress, and we hope that will encourage you to continue to offer your support. Thank you, and good evening.